Okay, well, today the Lord put on my heart that I wanted to speak to the non-ministers here. There are a lot of us who are non-ministers officially actually have ministries that need to be birthed. But a lot of times we don't know what to do, or we're afraid to step into that little idea we have. And so I want to tell you a testimony. After years of disappointments and changes, and you heard a little bit, if were here last night, maybe a minute of my husband's testimony, which is a big testimony. But after being homeless and then being raised to the height of his career, then the Lord laying him off and saying, I want you in full-time ministry. And he said, well, what do you want me to do? The Lord said, preach. He says, what do you mean? Where am I going to preach? Just preach. And that's what the Lord kept telling him. So he decided to start a devotional blog online. Now, he didn't know anybody. Nobody knew where to find this. But he started, and I think the first day he put it up, 2 people read it, and he got very excited. And soon there were 10,000 readers of his blog. But now I want to know bigger the effect. We go several years forward, and there's a man in Africa who's being groomed by his father and his grandfather as an ISIS terrorist, and he becomes sick, and the doctors can't figure it out. He's in the hospital. They're giving up on him. He's going to die. But a pastor comes through the hospital and says, can I pray with you? And he says, yes. And the man is healed and gives his life to the Lord. So then he goes home all excited and decides, maybe a mistake, to tell his father and his grandfather, who proceed to take him to a 3-story building and throw him off, trying to kill him. But it didn't work. God spared him. Then they got his best friend to try and kill him, and he survived that. So one of our spiritual daughters has a show, and she does a lot on Facebook, and she mentioned one day on Facebook Andrew Bills. She gets a call from Africa saying, do you know this Andrew Bills? And she goes, yes, he's my spiritual dad. And he goes, I could not find a Bible anywhere, but I found his blog, and I read it every day, and that's how I learned the gospel. And he now has a church in Kenya where he's preaching the gospel with his wife and kids. You have no idea the effect of what you can do with that little seed of an idea that God puts in your brain. It's something that's been put there, and you need to move on it. You need to act. So he's sitting in his upstairs bedroom, which is very hot, and that was very hot in that room, every morning, getting up at like 4 or 5 to write this blog in California, not knowing what effect it would have. And so you can see what effect it has. So whether you're in ministry or not in ministry, if you're a Christian, you have ministry. And don't be afraid.